Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships and a continuation of our new player guide series. You may notice today that I'm not actually on the EU server for this replay battle feature, but I'm on my main server account on the North American server. So one of the reasons why I wanted to feature this replay in particular is because what is going to happen in this battle. Because as a new player, there are different tactics you can use depending on the game mode type that will help you increase your chances of winning. And this is a tactic that is not used very often at all in World of Warships. And this tactic only works in standard battle. So you have two main modes within random battles. You have standard battles, which is your team has a base, a cap, and the enemy team has their base and cap. Or you have domination mode, where you have anywhere from 3 to 4 cap rings that you need to take, and that helps give your team more points. If the enemy team has more, then they'll gain more points than your team does if you have less. So when I was thinking of how to title this replay, this video, I haven't even figured it out yet as I'm sitting here, but it reminds me of what's called a quarterback sneak. For those of you who know of American football, a quarterback sneak is when the quarterback just sneaks the football right up the middle through the defensive, offensive line, so forth. So that is actually what basically is going to happen here. You'll notice in World of Warships, more often than not, that in a battle like this, and here we're on, I think, Land of Fire is the name of this map, and other type of maps like this, is that the enemy team will essentially split into two flanks. You have your left flank and your right flank, or east and west flank, however you want to phrase that, and they'll leave the middle completely wide open. Here on the Land of Fire, when you have between the 7-10 line, that is, fundamentally serves as its own channel. Then you have the 1-4 line roughly, where a lot of action goes down. You can actually see on the mini map that our team is extremely light on the west flank. On the number 2 line, you have the Johann de Witt moving down against probably 5 enemy ships and a carrier who's coming in on him. And our east flank is really strong. We had battleships that basically abandoned the west flank, and so that's not great in this regard. So the enemy team at some point will just completely crush the west flank. They'll collapse it, and then they'll move towards our caps. So one of the things we're doing in this battle, I'm in the Kid. It's a premium tier 8 American destroyer. It did actually exist. Is that we are working down the 6-7 line, and we're trying to figure out where the enemy destroyers are. And right now there's none in this immediate area. There's none who've decided to come down the middle, and I'm taking some time as I push up the middle to see if the enemy team has truly done a 6-6 split, where it makes it easy for me to do the tactic where myself and Clan Commander Doombeagle are going to sail up the mid into the enemy base, as well as some air support from Forgotten Void, another clanmate in the carrier. So there's two ways of looking at this tactic. One is if you are the player who wants to take advantage of this tactic, you just need to be patient and just see how is the enemy team moving. As you can see, I'm pinging the map because we're too strong on the east flank. But how's the enemy team moving? Have they truly parted the Red Sea, so to speak? That they've moved to both flanks, and that the mid section of the map, the battle zone, is unoccupied by the enemy team. The other thing is, if you are, let's say in this example, the red team, you need to be mindful if the mid section is wide open, because if there are players who are aware of this tactic, they're likely to use it, and then you're going to see what ends up happening. The enemy team's just out of position, and they're really not able to help here. Now, there's a few things going on here that helps this work out even better. So the first thing is that there's no RPF, or radio position frequency, that tells any enemy team players that I'm been sailing up the mid Sometimes if a enemy destroyer player has that, and he's like, wait, why is my icon switched to the middle of the battle, middle of the map, then they know something's up. There's someone trying to come in. The other thing, as you can see I'm doing here with the kid, is that I have my AA off right now. So I want to keep the enemy CV guessing, trying to figure out where I am. And he got really close to picking me up before. If I would have had my AA on, of course, he would have detected me out 5.8 kilometers away. But we have it off, so it's 2.8 or something like that. I can't quite remember. So we're sitting here at the bottom of the map. And this tactic is actually more difficult when there is a enemy carrier in the battle, in the matchmaking. Because they can just instantly fly over, spot you, enemy team starts shooting you, or they get the reset off on you. That hasn't been the case before. He hasn't figured out where we are. Doom Beagle's moving up in the Harbin, and I think that ship has decent AA. I can't remember. But the kid has some nasty AA at tier 8, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. And another reason that helps this tactic work out a little bit better in having an enemy carrier in the matchmaking. So Doom has opened up his AA. I've opened up my AA. I've prioritized the AA sector. I've also used the consumable, the defensive AA consumable. And now I'm having to reverse. I would rather have gone into Doom Smoke that he's dropping, but I didn't want to eat one of those torpedoes from the enemy carrier that he just dropped. So I had to reverse, and unfortunately we're going to get reset. Drops us back down to a minute 8, but that's not a big deal. So we turn the AA off, and now we're going to go into Doom Beagle Smoke, and we're going to sit here, right? So now the enemy team, you can see, has how many shells they were shooting at, how quickly they were reacting, at least to when we were lit. So that's good. So they are aware that there are players in the middle of their base, and you can see they're basically rushing back from their flanks to deal with us. Enemy carrier is back, and now we're set up waiting for the carrier, and he's going to eat a massive flak cloud, and all of his planes get shot out of the sky, which is a very wonderful thing in World of Warships when that happens, because it seems rather rare these days. Doom Smoke, as you see, I have the smoke timer. It's about to go out in 12 seconds, so I'm going to start popping my smoke in the kid. Kid's notorious for having that good long American smoke screen. To help keep us further concealed. He almost got reset by the Garitzia there. In RNG would have it that shells landed below and above his ship, which is fantastic. And that's going to be the game. We are going to take and win this battle with, I think, like the battle was only 7 minutes and 35 seconds long, something of that nature. And not only that, both myself and Doom Beagle, we won the battle with both having 0 damage. So the only damage we did was to the enemy aircraft. I got 6 shot down ribbons, and I believe Doom got 14. And he is also going to have 0 damage on the screenshot he has from his Windows XP screen. So he got 14 planes shot down and also 0 damage. And the funny thing is, and even with 0 damage, we both ranked mid on the team score. A lot of people can say, oh, that's boring, you just took their base, didn't fight it out, that kind of thing. But it is a tactic that you can use in World of Warships, and when I'm in a division with my clanmates or friends and doing this, I think it's absolutely hysterical. Because if I'm on the enemy team, it teaches me a lesson that, hey, I actually need to pay attention to my base in standard battle to prevent something like this happening. And maybe this even inspires some people on the enemy team to maybe they want to try this out at some point. I don't do this tactic often. Usually it really helps if you are at least divisioned up with a friend, a clanmate. But I do it probably 2 to 3 times a year, something like that. Well, I will exercise this tactic of sneaking up the middle, something of that nature. I actually had a battle where it was me and a destroyer, I believe it was, and then was it? I think I was in a Kosik, and then a Minotaur, or maybe it was in Edinburgh, something like that, Neptune. And we won 2 versus 6 because we sailed across the mid. Our team had completely collapsed and folded, and so it was the last-ditch effort to win, and we won the battle. So that was a fantastic battle. It was really really enjoyable in that sense. So as you are a new player playing World of Warships, just be aware that this is a tactic that you can use a tactic that the enemy team can use on you. So just be mindful of that and paying attention to your mini-map to see how your team's positioning. If they're opening up this large, massive gap, then perhaps it's best for you to be somewhere in mid position so you can prevent something like this happening. But a lot of times, the enemy teams aren't always aware of this tactic. They don't exercise it. It's just every now and then you see it. So don't think that the enemy team is specifically looking to do this. But I don't know, maybe after this video, some more players are conscious of this and you see maybe a 1% more. I don't know. So anyhow, if you enjoyed today's battle, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care.